Hey everybody, welcome to Self-Helpless. I'm Kelsey Cook.
I'm Taylor Tomlinson.
I'm Delaney Fisher.
And the main theme of today's episode is guilt.
Guilt!
Ooh,
Yes.
You gotta say it in a scary voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was recommended by one of our listeners, Aaron. So thank you so much for your episode suggestions. There's stuff that we wouldn't have thought to do ourselves. So we really take
Yes.
everything you guys write into account. Selfhelplesspodcast@gmail.com for any suggestions. And we have so many people write in about questions, like advice questions for us about guilt. So I think it's going to be a good episode. Nice. And if you do write in, we answer all of those personally on our Patreon. So go to patreon.com/selfhelpless to listen to your personalized response.
Yes. $5 a month for 2 bonus episodes.
Yeah.
It's a great
Plus
deal.
all this extra stuff.
So many extra things.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of feng shuiing a girl's bedroom right now.
So cool.
We're going to do, what's the other one? We're doing
You're
beauty
doing
consultation?
you're going to do a one-on-one beauty consultation
Yes.
this week. I just did a bunch of dating advice vlogs. Taylor's done a bunch of advice vlogs. Is that what you say? Vlog?
Yeah, vlog. That
There
was
we
good.
go. I'm
Look
getting
at
cooler.
you.
I'm getting cooler.
And if a dude gets it, I don't know, what would I do? Manscape?
Yeah.
Help a guy with a haircut
Oh
or
my
something?
God, beard
Yeah.
oils and shit. I'm
Yeah.
sure they got all
Oh,
kinds of
Awesome.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so down. So down.
That'll be great. Cool. So I want to kind of kick off this episode with an incredible sponsor.
Yeah.
I am so blown away by the beauty and creativity of this sponsor. It's a company called Vented in Brooklyn, and they sell, I know you guys can open your boxes now. They sell aromatherapy bracelets. This is hand-hammered copper. I'm going to put it up to the camera. It's gorgeous. They're adjustable bracelets, and you can put a few drops of essential oils that comes with this gift, and breathe in.
Where do
And
you put the drops on this little? Oh,
so
right
on the
here,
very
back here.
on the back, there's a little piece of paper. And you just put your little drops there, and you can breathe throughout the day. Best part of this company, for every bracelet you purchase, they donate one to a cancer patient or cancer organization,
that's
basically
so amazing.
helping relieve the symptoms of chemotherapy treatment.
Oh.
Isn't that incredible?
That's amazing.
Oh my God, I know. I was so happy when I discovered this company. So yeah, just a little bit about the bracelet. It's made in India by fair trade artisans. There's so many different power words that you can choose. They have grateful and blessed and fuck it and fight and bitch.
Fuck it?
Yeah, they have fuck it.
I
It's
didn't know
amazing.
they had fuck
Oh
it.
my God, yeah, that's
Why'd
what
I get breathe?
I know, I did breathe too.
Oh, I sent you all of the options.
You did not send fuck it.
they
I would've
have
picked fuck it.
Isn't that amazing?
Maybe you said fuck it, and I thought you were joking.
Oh, maybe. No, that's
So
one
it's
of the
like,
things that drew me is like, there's some comedic relief with this
love
company
it.
too, because
Ooh.
so many different
That's
power
really
words
cute
you
on
can
you.
choose from. They have, isn't that beautiful?
It is.
They have 4 different essential oils to choose from: lemon, lavender, peppermint, eucalyptus.
I love that you can pick. I love
Yeah.
that you can make some
Yeah,
actually.
the lemon smells super good.
Yeah,
and-
you and I both got breathe. What did
Yeah,
you get?
I got grateful with eucalyptus.
Oh, I love
You
it.
guys
love
got
that.
breathe?
I got breathe with lavender.
I love
Very
it.
cool.
Chill me out.
What a perfect gift this is for anybody. God, I wish I had this like during finals in college. You
Oh
know,
my
to just like
gosh,
breathe
yes.
every few minutes for every
yeah.
30 minutes to an hour for stress relief.
I'm gonna wear this right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
We've gotten really lucky with jewelry
We have
sponsorships.
gotten so
Oh,
lucky.
That
Yeah.
balance necklace.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, I wear that all the time.
I know.
Truly.
I still need a shorter.
It's gorgeous. Okay, we'll reach out.
I
mean,
need to
we've
email
lucked out
them.
with our sponsors. Not only are like beautiful items, but they do nice things for people.
I know.
Yes.
Best part, they're giving all of our listeners 15% off all orders until August 28th. So go to
Nice.
ventedinbrooklyn.com, and our code is vented SHP15. So again, ventedinbrooklyn.com, type in VENTED SHP15, and you'll get 15% off all purchases. And a really cool announcement for them, they have aromatherapy necklaces coming. So if you want to contribute
Nice.
to their Kickstarter, find them on Facebook, Instagram, their website at Vented in Brooklyn, and help make that dream come true for them too.
Oh, I love
Super
that.
cool,
Yeah,
right?
that's awesome.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, pretty little gift box. So yeah, thank you, Vented in Brooklyn. We
Thank
are so
ya.
happy to have you. My gosh, keep crushing it.
Yes.
Love
That's
it.
awesome. I like these little boxes too.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
beautiful.
All right.
Do we have a quotable?
We do have a quotable. This was posted in our, or what are we calling it? A secret Facebook group?
Secret Facebook group. Not closed, because closed sounds
Sounds like you can't sit
very
with us.
exclusive. Yeah, it's closed.
You can join it, but if
Yeah.
you are mean to anybody, you get kicked out. That's
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
the rule.
Yes. So it's our Facebook group that you request to be added, and we add everybody. So anyway,
Like a club with a password, but the password's just please. Like,
Open sesame.
And one of our listeners posted a quote that says, balance is not something you find, it's something you create.
Oh,
That one. Yeah, by Jana Kingsford.
oh man.
read that one more time.
Balance is not something you find, it's something you create.
Oh my God, so true.
so
Yeah.
That's what we have been talking
It's a
about
really
for the past year.
succinct one, yeah, because everybody does say, oh, you got to find balance, find balance. They always say find with it, but
Right.
it's true that, you know, it's kind of like your quotable that you made,
Yeah.
where it's like you have to, what did you say? You have to fit your job into your life, not your life into your job.
Right.
And it's that kind of thing where it's up to you. Like you
Right.
have to create the balance.
Yeah, that
Not
was
gonna-
good. Who posted that one? That's a good gem to
I
find.
know.
I know, that's
It
so
was
good.
Posted by,
It's not like balance is hiding from you.
by Rachel Wicklander.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel. Crushing the quotable game.
Yes.
My gosh. You guys have any treat yourselves / all the things that we talk about?
Yeah, I have a treat myself.
Go for it.
Please.
I like went up to the Bay Area with my boyfriend for a few days, and it was so nice. It
Is
was
this
a
the
nice-
first mention of a boyfriend on
it?
the
I don't know.
No,
the
because
podcast?
I feel like I
Have
because
we?
we talked about that Hannah had.
but I think I was still
she
saying
said-
guy I'm seeing.
Yes.
I think we're talking about the
Yes.
actual word.
The
of
word
it.
This is the
boyfriend?
B word.
Yeah, this is the B
Oh.
word.
Congratulations.
Yeah, boo.
Thanks. I
This
can't
is
believe I haven't done,
exciting.
we just stockpile so far back that
Yeah.
a month later I'm like, oh, I guess I never said.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it was so nice, and like all we did was just like lay in bed and make food, and like we went to the beach and went to the woods, and it was like the first time in a really, I can't remember the last time I completely like turned it off and was
Yeah.
just very present and relaxed and like completely recharged. And I don't think I've ever felt this way about anybody, where I felt like I could spend all of my time with somebody and not get sick of them. Because every relationship I've been in, I've been like I used to do like cruise ships, and they were like, you know, you can bring a significant other, and I'm like, oh, gross, for 7 days. I'm like, I don't want to see any of these guys for 7 days. And this is the first time that I felt like just completely comfortable, and like it's so nice. It's like the best. I'm
That's
so
the real shit.
That's
then.
the real shit.
That's
yeah.
the real shit.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It is. Very happy
Aw.
for
Yeah,
you.
I'm very happy.
Much needed
Yay.
vacay.
Yeah, we were all very happy.
Yeah.
Sending us pictures of like tacos and stuff.
I
We were
know.
like, that's a good life.
It was so, yeah, it was like perfect. It was the kind of thing where you're like, this should be every day, but it can't.
right.
But it should be.
should be more of it.
But it can't. There should be more of it, and you
Yes.
just have to create that, like you said. So, but yeah, it was so. I can't get over how nice it was. Actually,
Oh,
it's kind of
good.
insane.
Good.
Wow.
Keep it coming. Keep
Yeah.
those trips coming and that downtime.
Well, we're gonna go to Maine next month.
Oh yes.
This was like the
Yes.
and we're going to Vegas in like
I know.
3 days. So
We are treating
mini
ourselves
bachelorette
hard.
party.
Yes. Yeah.
I know this like we had this Vegas trip planned before I got engaged, and so now we're like, well, this is a bachelorette party now, and
Oh, yeah.
they're pushing the whole sash and crown situation. I'm
Oh,
like,
we're not pushing. We're insisting.
Oh no, it's not a choice. I don't
Yeah.
know if we made it seem like it was.
Yeah, that's adorable.
Did you wear it?
I apologize for the misleading of it.
I did get a $7 white romper from or bodysuit from
Yay!
Forever 21
Good.
yesterday. So I was like, okay, I'll
Oh,
have
God.
something that's.
We are gonna be slutty bitches. I
I'm
can't
so
wait.
excited.
That's gonna be so fun.
I was looking in my closet today for the beachy clothing, and I went and saw like that. Remember that like bright red skirt I got? It. I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
oh great, I get to wear this in a few days.
Not wait.
Yes,
Equal
yes.
parts excited and terrified.
Oh, I cannot wait. I have never seen even a picture of Taylor dressed up like a total hoe.
Oh,
I don't know if I ever have been.
we gonna make it
cannot-
hoe it, baby. We gonna hoe you up.
Yeah.
I'm putting fake eyelashes on you.
Oh
nice.
god! Oh yeah, you're gonna do our makeup.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
gonna
That
look
might
so
be something
good.
we should do for like Instagram TV or something. Like,
Oh
like
yes.
we gotta be putting stuff up as we're out there.
Cannot
I know.
wait.
Well, so yeah, keep an eye on our social media.
Yeah, we'll be doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because this will come out. This actually is going to come out like 2 days after we're recording it right now, and then we leave for Vegas the next day. So yeah, follow us. Let's just plug our socials real quick.
Yeah, good call.
I'm at Kelsey Cook Comedy on Instagram and at Kelsey Cook on Twitter.
At Delaney Fisher on all the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. T-Tom Comedy on Instagram, Taylor Tomlinson on Twitter. Yeah. Oh, and thanks everybody who watched the Netflix special.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
yeah.
I forgot.
We haven't mentioned that yet because
I
it's
know.
been a little while.
Yeah,
I
thank
know.
you guys for watching it. I got getting very nice responses, and the Tonight Show set. Everything.
Fuck yeah.
It's been a lot this week.
Crushing it.
So awesome.
But yeah, what about you? You always have a treat yourself.
I've had so many treat myself lately because Cam and I are settling into our new apartment, which I love so much.
It is stunning.
Yeah,
I
Kelsey
got to
saw
go
it.
see it and like hang out at her pool, and it was truly like, wow, this is a goal for sure.
that's
Yeah.
so
Aw, thanks,
awesome.
babe. So I have been decorating. I've never been interested in decorating. I didn't understand people who were, and I have been hardcore, just like, Pinteresting stuff and looking at things and like trying to figure out like what my taste is because I've never had a chance to decorate an apartment from scratch ever.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
28 and this is my first time doing something like this. I painted a table. I went to Lowe's and I got sandpaper and paint and primer
Wow.
and wax and all this shit. And I painted a shit brown table and I made it like a bright blue color.
It's beautiful.
It's
you.
really, really
Thank you
cute.
so
Yeah.
much. So yeah, I mean we got a new couch and table and kind of just a lot of new stuff, silverware,
Yeah.
all the types of things that you need in a kitchen that you don't really think about. But everything is very minimal still. So I'm
Yes.
keeping it contained. But that's my treat myself is just redoing the apartment and setting up. I bought myself a digital picture frame.
Awesome.
And a portable scanner because I've scanned all my documents, papers, pictures, and I'm putting it all on the digital frame.
Yeah.
So I can throw out the hard copies because I posted something on the Facebook group about the 21-day minimalism challenge.
I've been hitting it so
God,
hard.
it's so
Really?
good, and it's
Yeah.
something I wish I would have found years ago when I kind of started all this decluttering and purging. So I've done all these steps, but it's taken me the course of a few years because they just pop up in my head as ideas. I didn't know there was a incredible 21-day challenge for it.
Yeah.
I'm getting rid of all my paper hoard this year.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna scan everything. So
That's
it's,
so cool.
it's been very good. Yeah,
I cannot
love it.
recommend that 21 days of minimalism enough. You
Yeah.
put it in the Facebook group,
I
right?
did, yeah.
Oh my God. They
You go
do
to-
at one
yeah.
point. It's such like a kind of radical idea. It's a little extreme, but it seems really effective. Where the guy, when he started to get into minimalism, he packed everything up in his place as if he was moving,
Yep.
but then just stayed in his place and would unpack something when he needed it.
Oh, that's
Incredible.
amazing.
And then that stayed out. And then, so over the course of, I think it was on the 10th day, he didn't unpack anything.
Yeah.
So, and there's all this shit left that he just wasn't using, didn't need, didn't really care about. And I mean, again, that's a little bit of an intense thing to do. I mean, I was looking at my place like, I don't want to pack all this shit up.
Yeah.
You can just cover it with a sheet.
Right. But yeah, it really does make you think, like, when was the last time I used this? Or
Yeah.
how much do I actually care about that? So,
Although I will say, I told Delaney this when she came up. I got rid of a pair of shorts because I was like, I never wear these shorts. They were shorts like Delaney's wearing. And this morning, I was like, oh, I'm going on the boat. I'll wear those shorts. I got rid of the
Oh.
shorts because of minimalism.
damn.
And so, yeah.
But look at your
But
cute
I have the
pants
pants.
that you're wearing.
Yes,
So
these
you're
are cute
still
pants.
covered.
I
and
did
you're
just buy these
adorable.
and I've worn them twice. So that's
Yeah.
cool. They're like
They're amazing.
pajamas, but they're for outside. It's the best.
That is
That is
truly
the
the best
best.
loophole.
Yeah.
I wore leggings on stage for the first time, but like Adidas, like I
span-
wore
yeah.
on stage what I slept in, and it was amazing. And I was like, God, I gotta stop making so much effort. This is the way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, minimalist.com. Check it out. They have so many good blogs, postings, and those challenges. Like, I've been really enjoying their podcast with tips on like how to deal with family as a minimalist and how to deal with birthdays and holidays and all that. So really good stuff. Highly recommend it if you're looking into that lifestyle. I cannot stress how much I love it enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel like I have one of everything. Life has been so crazy since the last time we were in the studio, because the last time we were here is when Kane proposed. So thank you. I mean, thank you again to you guys for being like the best friends in the world. That was so nice. And then thank you to all of the listeners, all of you guys that like left the nicest comments on all like the proposal video. So many of you sent me private messages that like, it was just, everybody was so nice. So thank you.
really sweet.
Like nothing made me smile harder than scrolling through our Facebook group and seeing everybody be so happy. And like, I haven't met any of you, and you're so like, you care so much, and it made me feel so nice. And it was just the greatest thing. So thank you guys for that. We've already like, I basically jumped into wedding planning because even though it's a year away, that's how far out everything books.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to book what you want, or else somebody else is going to take it. And then like you can't use that venue, or you can't have that date.
Right.
So that's been a whirlwind. I will say, here's a defuck with the wedding planning that I did not expect. I've had so many people inviting themselves to our wedding.
That's insane
weird.
to me.
Isn't that so like...
Because you have to feed
So
them.
weird.
It like costs money.
That's like just asking me for $75.
yeah.
And by the way, like the people asking are people I haven't spoken to in years.
Yeah.
Or haven't seen in years. It's the weirdest thing.
It is.
People who come out of the woodwork like, I worked with your mom 20 years ago and I knew you when you were little and I think I should be invited. I'm like,
It's so strange.
that's so crazy. Even if I was inviting 10,000 people to my wedding, I still wouldn't invite you.
I think I should be invited. Is
Yes.
that a direct
yes.
quote?
Yes.
That is so weird, because like that's
What?
just like wedding etiquette 101. You don't even have had to have been to a wedding ever in your life to know that you shouldn't ask like, hey, I better be
That's
invited, or
life
am I
etiquette.
invited? That's weird.
You don't invite yourself to a
Anything.
brunch.
Yeah.
Don't invite yourself anywhere. Don't get in my car. Don't do anything.
Exactly.
Don't invite yourself to a conversation with me without an express invitation from me.
Yeah.
I'm horrified by this. Yes.
It's like one of the most personal, intimate days that costs so much. The average wedding cost in 2017 was $33,000.
Yeah.
And we are going, your face.
Yeah.
We are going far below that, but it's still like a lot of money for two, starving artists to cover.
Yeah.
And it's a lot per person. So when these people ask, it's just like, oh my God, that's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a defuck. Don't be inviting yourself to my wedding. The shit.
That's a message for everybody.
Yeah.
No, that is very
That's
weird.
so
That
nuts
was-
to me.
yeah.
I can't even wrap my head around that.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So
What have you been
Strange.
saying? Have you just been laughing?
I haven't
That's what I would
no,
do.
I'm just not responding.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
probably for the
you
best.
know.
I feel like I would just say like, ha 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 ha. Thank you so much. Like,
Oh, nah. I will not even acknowledge their presence.
I love you.
Dead to me now. But yeah, a lot of great things with wedding planning, a lot of even more defucks. Like, it's now what I'm talking about on stage, like how many really weird, outdated things are still happening at weddings that I wasn't even aware of until like I was on the phone with the DJ and he was like, okay, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? And it's like, who is doing this? Who
Like what?
wants
Like
to
the
do,
Macarena?
no, like the
Is that what you mean?
do you
The
guys know
father-daughter
about like the
dance and all
dollar
that?
dance?
The dollar dance.
So all of the men at the wedding can give the bride $1 to dance with her.
What?
You should
I've
do
never
that.
seen that before.
Ugh.
I would do that.
Like,
I'd get
glad-
some money.
Glad I'm wearing a dress that costs more than my rent to slow dance with Carl. Like, I don't want to dance with like Kane's like farty friends,
Yeah.
who I love, but it's just like I don't want that.
I've been to a lot of weddings and I've never seen that. So
Yeah,
I don't know
I've never
if
heard of
that's
that.
like
Yeah, that's a
way
thing.
back in the day kind of tradition or what.
How old is this DJ?
He's
Like
been doing it
frosted
for like
tips and
no,
crow's feet.
he's amazing. I'm like super excited to have him. But there's the anniversary dance. Have you heard of this? I haven't heard of
Oh,
this.
is this
one.
like if you're still married for 40 years, get out here on the dance floor?
It's
That
almost
thing?
like the opposite, where he says all married couples go on the dance floor, and then he goes, okay, if you've been married for 2
Right.
hours, sit down. So then like the newlyweds sit down. If you've been married for a year, sit down. 5 years till the longest married couple is the only one left on the dance floor, and then they're supposed to give advice to the newlyweds. But there is so much divorce in my family. Like, whoever's out there is on their third marriage, and their like scorned ex is sitting in the crowd, like, congratulations, Jerry. You know, like, hope you're glad with your whore. Like, I would never ever allow that. I could just feel like grandparents hating each other. It's just so much family tension. I would never want to like shine a spotlight on couples that have made it when their exes are going to be there. It's just like so many things.
I've never seen that either.
If you do that, you have to know who the winners are. There has to be somebody who's been married for like 60 years.
Right.
Like I could do that at my wedding because my grandparents are like 57 years in or something.
Oh, see, there's no.
So they're fine. And we just go, hey, why don't you guys just come up here? We don't have to do the whole everyone sit down. Like, just come out. We don't have to whack-a-mole and guess who. Like,
just
it's
come.
you.
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah, my grandparents are like the only people that have been married that long. But like, they don't like each other. You know, like they stayed married because there was no option back then.
Wow.
You either marry the man who knocked you up, or you go live in a village of tents somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, you got two options. Like, there's literally there's no pair of grandparents on our family that are not divorced.
So it's a close race.
Real close race with all exes watching.
People celebrate with 2 years in.
We did it.
Go Gramps. Yeah, no, it's so bad. I'm not doing like the garter toss. I'm not wearing a garter. I don't want Kane fishing around down there for this piece of fabric that's been sitting by my crotch all day.
You don't want
and
your
then
uncle to catch your crotch bracelet?
Grabbing it with his teeth while my dad watches. Like, who
he's supposed to do it with his teeth?
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's
your
weird.
head goes up the dress.
Yes.
And grabs
Oh
it
yeah, no.
With
Ew.
your teeth.
With your dad?
With my
your dad watching?
With everybody watching.
I thought he just like kind of took it
including
off.
my dad and my grandparents and my brother. Like, I don't want.
Okay, but they don't do that
funny.
at Christian weddings.
Well, no.
They do it with their hands. Like Jesus would. And then they wash your feet on the way down.
Well,
not really. That's a Bible
I've
thing.
seen this at almost every wedding I've been to, but I've also seen it modified where they put the garter like really low, so it's basically like he just grabs it off of her ankle or her leg or whatever. But
it's like when you hide an Easter egg for a kid, but you put it right out there so you can see it.
You could just toss the garter without having wearing it, because they do the whole catch the bouquet, catch the garter, and you're supposed to be the next one, and all the single guys are like running away from it. That's always a fun moment.
I just don't. I care so little about the traditional stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to dance for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's great too.
I don't want to fucking walk around with some weird piece of like. Who does that? I'm not used to doing that. I want to be
wearing one
uncomfortable.
now.
Your Saturday garter. I
have days of the week garters.
Yeah, I love it.
So anyway,
I'm very excited for your wedding.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Yeah. But it's been a lot of defucks of like, what is happening?
It just has to be you and what you
like.
We're
so excited if we're invited.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would never assume.
Now you're like, oh God, are we?
We're coming.
Start my apology email now.
Delaney's marrying us. It's very exciting, and it's gonna be awesome.
But you're marrying her, but that makes you kind of like you're like a caterer.
Yeah,
you're working.
You're not even technically good.
Right.
You're gonna be the help
for hire.
Yeah. I'm gonna walk around with a cheese plate, so we're all contributing.
Oh my
Mike
God.
Coletta is gonna be our flower girl.
That is the greatest thing I have ever heard in my life.
I just picture Mike, just this big goofy guy, just flopping flowers around.
I am really excited for that experience, because it is going to be it's going to be so you. And like I feel the same way about those traditional stuff. Is like, I'm just going to do whatever I want to do if and when that day comes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really, so I'm very excited to see that. Cool. Should we get into the meat?
Yes.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Let's dive in. Who wants to go first?
Oh gosh, I don't
Taylor,
even
why
know.
don't you go first?
I
This
think
is
this
like
is a big one for you.
Yeah, this is a big one for me this week. I did look up some stuff about it real quick just to get some stuff on you. This is on Psychology Today. It's like the first thing. It says 10 things you don't know about guilt, and just a couple things that I read that I thought were interesting. Is guilt protects our relationships. It's considered a pro-social emotion because it helps you maintain good relations with others, which is more of a positive spin on guilt that I appreciated, as far as like,
I guess
we've talked
true.
about this, feeling guilty about wanting to be a good person and a good friend.
Keeps people from cheating.
Right.
does
You know,
keep
'cause
you
you're
from
like,
cheating.
well, I don't want to walk around with this feeling of guilt forever. It's not worth it.
That's
type of
why
thing.
you got to find someone guilty who feels guilty about about stuff they didn't even do wrong, because I feel guilty about everything. It's the only thing that'll keep me from cheating. I know that. We experience 5 hours a week of guilty feelings.
Wow.
That seems low.
I'm like, that seems high for
I know.
me.
I'm like, God, that's
Really?
terrible.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure that's actually very accurate.
Yeah, that's 5 hours. Pff, that's nothing.
That might be more than that for me, actually, now that you say that.
Yeah. One study, if you watch all of the episodes of the comedy lineup on Netflix, that's only 2 hours. So as far as bingeable, this guilt's not even bingeable. One study found that if you add up all the moments you spend feeling mildly or moderately guilty, it adds up to a pretty significant chunk of time.
Wow.
But it can be, but guilt can be useful in small doses. Again, I agree with that. Unresolved guilt is like having a snooze alarm in your head that won't shut off.
Oh,
Makes it hard to concentrate.
that's accurate.
Yeah, it makes it difficult to think straight. Makes you reluctant to enjoy life. Makes you self-punish. Makes you avoid the person you've wronged or that triggers those emotions. And they make you feel, you feel guilty, but you also feel resentful. And guilt-prone people often assume they've harmed others when they haven't. I deal with that all the time. I think people are mad at me all the time, which they almost never are, or that I did something wrong, or I accidentally hurt someone's feeling. And it's like, it's so detrimental to your mental health just to walk around with that assumption all the time. But yeah, as far as, there's so many different types of guilt. I feel like there's earned guilt, is like you did something shitty.
Right.
You should feel guilty. There's healthy, that's like healthy guilt. And there's paranoid guilt. And then there's guilt that is like thrust upon you.
It's like inflicted. Yeah.
Inflicted guilt, which is something I dealt with this week. So as I've already promoted several times, the Netflix 15 came out. It is not 100% clean. I don't think it's bad.
Oh my God.
I
To
was like,
me,
I
it's
can-
100% clean.
It's 100% clean
Yeah.
to me. Okay, there's what? There's one
There's two
condom joke.
I think there's 2 swear words. I said shit and bitch, which granted
And the
I probably
condom-
didn't need to say it.
I said that shit this morning when I woke up. Like,
I
I just,
know.
like, I don't know. Yeah, that's.
And
okay.
the condom joke is clean. Like, it's
It
just.
is. You talk about a Halloween costume.
I know, but
Okay.
that's
But
dirty.
I
to-
forget
going,
that
sorry.
like clean and dirty are relative.
Right.
Super
Like,
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
coming
This is
from-
I know we're very
hard one.
fired up about
I
it.
know.
Like,
Well,
what?
coming from church, it's like a lot. So, and my parents came to the Tonight Show the week before Tonight Show, super, super clean. You know, they loved every second of it. So proud. And part of the reason I wanted them to come to that was because I knew the Netflix thing was coming out, and I didn't know how they were going to react to it. So,
See that, and that's like that's such a bummer that you were even having to think like that.
Yeah.
That you were having to kind of like think ahead and almost like strategize like this to pad this. It's like that sucks.
I know,
Yeah.
which is, and it's stupid too, because it's like having one last great day with someone you're going to break up with. It's like, you're not gonna enjoy that memory, you know. It's like just for the present. It doesn't make any sense. But all that to say, the Netflix thing came out, and my sister let me know that my parents were watching it, and so they watched it, and they didn't say anything to me for 3 days. I didn't talk to them. And so that whole time I'm just sitting around going, I don't know if they're mad. I don't know if they hate it. I mean, I know my parents are very supportive as far as like if something comes out that they're proud enough to tell their friends about, they're going to post about it. And they didn't post about it. They didn't say anything. They didn't even say like, we watched it. Good job. So it gets to be, it came out on Tuesday. It came out like Monday night at midnight. And they watched it Tuesday. It gets to Friday. So yesterday. And I called my dad and he didn't answer. And I called my mom and I was like, I was talking to her about other stuff, and I mentioned promoting. I was doing radio that morning to promote the Netflix thing, and I said like, "Oh, I'm gonna do that," and like, "Oh, there's this billboard on Sunset. It's pretty cool." She was like, "Oh, cool," and I was like, "Okay, so did you guys watch it?" And she was like, "Yeah, we did," and I was like, "Okay," I was like, and I was like, "Were you disappointed?" And she was like, "Yeah," she's like, "Your dad was disappointed," and I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
That
And
makes me so upset.
and then we had a whole, and she was granted she wasn't mad at me, she wasn't anything like that. So, and that was my biggest fear, is that they were gonna be mad, and all she basically just said like, They didn't really like it. They didn't like the editing. They thought the audience was too quiet. Like you couldn't really hear them, which I can't do anything about that.
No, and
as
also,
far as the
how
editing.
many applause breaks did you get?
Yeah,
I couldn't
But even
count.
those sound quiet when you. I thought that too. So it was like it was my own. It was like when you. It's like when you got shitty feedback about your Tonight Show set, and then we were like, "What?" And you were like, "But that's something I was worried about." And then someone else said something remotely close to it, and so I had felt like when I watched pieces of it, like, "Oh, it sounds kind of quiet," but all right. I mean, it's good. I guess it's fine. And so when they said, she was like, it just sounded really quiet. And she's like, and your Tonight Show set was just so much better. And 6 months really makes a difference, I guess. And you're so much better now. And
that makes me so mad.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say anything bad about your parents. It
Right.
just is like wanting to defend you.
I know.
Because you were so good. And then
So
Netflix
good.
Day being like her saying 6 months makes a big, like, you were fucking amazing.
the difference is, and I do think in some ways I was better on the Tonight Show. I mean, 6 months does make a big difference. It's 4 minutes as opposed to 15. It is different. But the Tonight Show audience is so different than a special taping or even a club. Like,
And the
they're all
audio
like,
of the Tonight Show is different.
Completely
as well.
different.
Like, it's
completely different.
It's all
It's
different.
a small studio, the Tonight Show, and that Netflix room is like wide, big ceilings. Like, it's just different. But like,
I don't even think it didn't even sound like they mic'd the audience
right
for Netflix, and I think they do that on purpose because they're like, we don't want the laughs to distract. We want as many jokes in there as possible.
Right.
So I think they did it on purpose. But for my parents, the response is really important to them. Like it's the whole appearances thing. So for them, it really affected how they thought it went.
because it validated to them that like, oh, we must be right if we think that clean is better and we think there's lower laughter here, then we must be right.
Right. Because if I had done the exact same thing on the Tonight Show, exact same thing, but I hadn't gotten like any applause breaks,
right,
they wouldn't have thought it was as good because there's a lot placed on the audience, and to a certain extent I agree, like it changes the rhythm or whatever, but it was tough because she was really like, she kind of made me feel like my dad was angry at me. She was like, she's like, well, you need to call your dad. You guys need to talk about it.
Oh my God.
And I was like, great. This
I'm
is
clutching the table
I know,
right now. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to bite my tongue, and I think your parents are lovely people, but how they can be in anything but in awe of you blows my mind.
Right.
Because you're an incredible comedian. I don't think people realize how hard this industry really is.
No.
And the fact that you are this age getting all of these huge milestones that takes people decades to get.
Right.
Some people never get.
They never get. And
most people never get.
There's something, and instead, I don't know. I feel like they could have still congratulated and done all these things without sharing their disapproval.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Honesty is a big thing for them. Like, we're always going to tell you what we think. And I was like, okay, well, you could also have not done that.
Right.
But it was whatever. They don't, you're right. They don't understand the business. My mom also said within that conversation, I think I'm predicting you're going to headline you're going to sell out Carnegie Hall in 3 years. And I was like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. No. And once she said that, it was towards the end of the conversation after she'd said everything else. And I was like, oh, none of this I shouldn't listen to any of this. Yeah. Because if you think that if you think I can sell out Carnegie Hall when I am 27, they don't
know how the industry works.
You don't know how this works.
Right.
It's,
right.
It's
That's our parents being like, call Jerry Seinfeld to do comedians in cars.
Exactly. That would be good for you. That would be good. Exactly. Yeah. So it hurt my feelings that she was like, she's like, your clean stuff is better than anyone out there. And I was like, you don't watch any other comedians. What are you talking about? Like, you don't know who else is out there. And then my dad took a while to get back to me, and I thought he was just angry. I was like, he's so mad. And then so I had a rough day on Friday. But then he got back to me, and he called me, and he was fine. And I was like, okay, so everything's cool. And then we actually had a really good talk. We had a long talk. Granted, he said all the same things my mom did. He didn't like it. And he was like, he was like, elephant in the room, condom joke. He's like, it's disturbing to me to hear my daughter talking about that stuff, because I think, how does she know about that? And is that what she's dealing with? And he goes, and I don't want to know the answer.
Right.
Which, believe it or not, huge progress
Wow.
for me and my dad.
Okay.
Huge progress for
Yeah.
him to go, I don't want to know the answer, as opposed
Okay.
to, what are you doing out there? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, completely
steps.
huge. Yeah, baby
Yeah.
steps.
Okay.
Baby steps. So it was actually a great conversation as far as like nobody was mad. Everybody was just like, yeah, no, I get that. And I was very open with him and honest. It was just like, hey, like, you know, I don't want to disappoint you, but I also like he was saying like, I felt like you gave up an audience to please another audience that isn't as good, essentially, like by being not squeaky clean. You know, he's like, you lost some people. Because like you lost like this audience that only wants clean, like basically him.
Right.
He would be in that audience,
Right.
And so he's like, and now you're just doing a condom joke for
For all the sluts.
exactly, basically, yeah. And it
The
was
sluts and the sinners.
yeah, kind of. And it was rough because I had to explain to him. I was like, I'm really proud of that joke. That's one of the best jokes I've ever written. It's the one I get the most feedback on. I was like, that probably got me that TV show deal. Like, he's like, why do you think that joke got you that? And I was like, because I did it for Montreal and it went amazing. And it all goes into that. And I was like, there are things I want to talk about that aren't going to be clean. And it just is what it is. And I was like, he's like, I just don't want you to be Amy Schumer. And I was like, Amy Schumer talks about like getting blackout drunk and and like sex and really graphic and stuff. And he goes, well, I don't even know what she talks about. And I said, exactly. You don't know.
So yeah.
I was like, there's a lot. I was like, Dad, there's so much gray area between Amy Schumer and like Mary, Son of Jesus. Like, there's just so much in there. And I was like, Dad, I don't think I'm doing anything that would horrify you. I really don't. I'm pretty responsible. And like, it was tough, man. Like before I talked to him and thought he was mad at me, I was talking to my boyfriend about it. I was just like, I just don't know what to do because I'm such a good kid. Like I'm such a good kid. I try so hard, and this is the one thing I can't do for them. And I can't be a Christian comedian. Like I can't do it. And it sucks because I want to, but I'm just not that thing. So there was a lot of guilt on that, but it ended up being good, and it was a good conversation. It was stuff that needed to happen. And I'm sure it won't be the last time that happens, but it's tough because you can't let guilt over other people's reactions to your choices rule your life. Yeah. Because I talk to my parents a lot, and they're still not in my life very much on a day-to-day basis, Right. So you can't structure your life around a set of people you might disappoint at Christmas. Yeah. And then be miserable the rest of the year. Right. And it goes back to, like dating and like seeing people through your parents' eyes and hoping they won't judge them. And you tend to do it to yourself too, where you're like, oh, they would see me do this and they would think I'm disgusting or whatever. So, right. It was a big week for feeling super guilty about all that stuff.
That's really hard.
But
especially like, the whole clean versus dirty thing I know we've talked about. It's like, you're just being you. Like our jokes are our experiences, and sometimes they're clean and sometimes they're dirty and sometimes they're political and sometimes they're not. I mean, it's all part of just your expression. So I just hate those boxes that comics and other artists get pegged in. And also just, like you said, it just comes down to you're the one who has to live your life as you every day. Right. So if you're going to let somebody else dictate how you live, it's just, you shouldn't do that. Because you're not living for them. They don't have to wake up in your shoes every day and go do what you do. Right. You have to live your life, and you can respectfully take into account what they're saying and thank them. But ultimately, you have to be happy at the end of the day. Yeah, being yourself. So, man, it's a tough one.
It's so extra hard too when it's your parents because, like we've talked about in here, like you have this instinctive need for their approval as much as like you maybe feel like, oh, I don't need it, I don't want it. It's like it's something that's very hard to fight. So I really feel for you. Like that has to be that much harder that it's your parents, because it's like, and it's true what you're saying, that I feel like they almost are too zoomed in on what they think you should be as opposed to like what you could be. Mm-hmm. Like you are such a good kid and like such an amazing comic. It's like you could have a daughter that's out like smoking crack. Yeah.
And they love me and they're supportive, and I think we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out together, and it went a lot better than it could have. And so I'm I'm good with it now. But
Yeah.
but
Right.
yeah, it was a tough one.
Yeah.
But you were saying you felt
family
guilt
stuff.
around.
Oh, yeah, I've had some interesting conversations recently with family and stuff. I don't think people realize like how much of a minimalist I am and like how much I've gotten rid of. So if anybody ever brings up like, do you still have that thing or where is this thing? And I don't have it anymore, I have to kind of explain why. And so I talked to my mom recently about like gift giving and stuff like that. My mom is a wonderful, generous person who's always given me way too much, like out of love. And
Right.
stuff that like some stuff I needed, some things I don't need. I kind of had to talk to her recently about like gift giving. You know, she wanted to give us a housewarming gift, which she did, and I hung on the wall, and I'm like, okay, well, that's all we need. Thank you so much. She wanted to give us a gift for like our 1 year Self-Helpless anniversary, but like she wants to give gifts at every like celebration and milestone,
That's
which is
so
beautiful.
sweet.
She's
Yeah.
a wonderful
So sweet.
person, and that's the thing is like it's all out of love. But I've had to say, look, I'm really like I'm a minimalist. Like I have like one hat. You know what I mean? Like I don't. I'd rather go to lunch with you or spend the day with you somewhere than to receive a gift.
Or massage gift certificate, something that's like an experience.
Massage, food, and she does that too. Like she's so generous. She does that too, but she wants to give me like like when my movie got sold, she got me like a little apple that says "Bad Tutor" on it. Like she's just cute.
Yeah.
She's fucking adorable. But I tell her like, look, you've been doing this, since I was a kid, and like I want to keep everything because it's sentimental and wonderful, and I love having it. But I had like a full kitchen set by the time I was 17. Like I didn't even have an apartment yet, and my mom had already given me like everything I could ever need for an apartment.
Right.
I was like, I appreciate it, but like I'm starting to live a different lifestyle, and there's certain things like if I want something, I kind of just want to pick it out myself and like find out what kind of things I like and all that. So it went very well, but it's a little uncomfortable, and there's definitely some guilt around me letting go of things or like even saying that to people. That like that experiences over gifts, like you kind of sound like you might be ungrateful or all this stuff, but really it's like, no, I'd rather have your time than a piece of an item. Like I'd rather spend the day with you at the beach than have this thing. So I've been having some guilt around letting stuff go, which is a big one, especially like pictures right now since I'm digitizing everything. So that was interesting, but I'm gonna probably have to have a lot more of those conversations going forward to keep my apartment the way that it is. So those are the recent guilt feelings I've had.
Oh man. Mine have all kind of been around the wedding lately. Financially, it's really interesting what happens when you start to plan a wedding, because other people have expectations of what your wedding should be, both with like who should be invited and how much money you should spend and kind of like what the tone of the wedding should be. And my dad and stepmom and my mom are all pitching in a little bit financially, which we're like so grateful for. But I had a conversation with my dad about like kind of where that money was going and kind of like what our overall budget is. And I'm comfortable talking about it on the podcast because I'm actually like proud that we're trying to stay within $10,000, which in this day and age is like practically impossible. Like unless, when you talk about that you want to get married on your grandparents' orchard, like unless you have a venue yourself, it's really, really hard. A lot of places just to like use their space cost $5,000, and that doesn't include anything. That's not like including food or drinks. It's just like you can use our building.
Rental fee,
So we're doing it on a Thursday, which is a weekday. So then like there's practically no rental fee, and then we get a discount on all of the vendors. So I feel like I worked really hard to get us all of like these really great deals, and I felt proud of like the work I did, because I think some other people would have just been like, oh, whatever, we'll just find a way to pay like a crazy amount of money and just make it work. But I was like, no, this is like what we can afford. This is what we can save up for over the course of a year. And even still 10,000, like I feel that's still crazy to me.
That's a lot of money
to spend in one day. It's still crazy, but it's like, don't know. It's too much to get into like the specifics of where that money goes. But, you know, a lot of it is like food and beverage and we're only having like 50 people there, but it adds up a lot. So I was telling my dad kind of like what the costs were looking like and all this stuff. And he seemed so disappointed. Like he couldn't see, I think, the work I was putting in and just the fact that like that's what things cost now, unless you have a cousin who's a DJ and a sister who's a photographer and you know, like the grandparents were like it's really hard. You have to pay money. And my dad was like, well, when your stepmom and I got married, we just served people cake and mints.
Really?
And like he's like, and even though it was like at dinner time, like that's just all we served people. And I'm thinking like, well, people probably weren't like super stoked about that decision you made.
I left early.
Yeah, like, and also, that was your second marriage.
Yeah.
Like,
and how long ago was that? That was
like
a long time ago.
25 years ago.
Things have changed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
25 years ago, and you know, Kane's mom is, she's so sweet, and she's super excited. But Kane's told me that like her second wedding was they went to the courthouse and then they got McDonald's afterward with Kane and his sister when they were kids, you know, and it was like because they had both already had actual weddings, I think. So anyway, it's like I just felt like my dad's perspective on it was very different than like what is happening now. This is my first and hopefully only wedding. And it's 2018, like things are super expensive and we're having it down like in the San Diego area. So people are flying down. I'm not going to have people fly down and then just serve them cake. Like people have to eat food. I want to give them a meal and like give them alcohol. And anyway, it just like, it's tough to feel guilty about this process when I feel like I'm doing everything I can short of just going like, let's go to Vegas and do it at like a drive-in, which not knocking that, like that's totally fine. If that's something that people are into, great. Like that's awesome. Like that does save you a fuck ton of money. But if you do want to have an actual wedding, which I go back to what you said, I say this all the time. You said that your wedding are like, no, the only days that everybody you love will be there for are your wedding and your funeral.
Yeah, all in one place. It's a crazy experience. Like, when else do you get that?
Exactly.
So that's why I would want to have some kind of
like
party,
an actual
you know?
wedding.
Yeah.
And you know, I love the people in my life so much. I feel so lucky to have a lot of really great friends and family, and it's something like I cannot wait to just be on the dance floor with everybody. I will never have had that experience before with like all of my friends there, all my family, and it's important to me. So I don't know. I think we're doing a really good job, and like
So wait, your dad was disappointed because he's thinking it's costing too much?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. First of all, Kelsey, I've been to a lot of weddings, and I don't know anybody who's spent $10,000 or less.
Thanks.
I mean, maybe there's like a backyard wedding at some point, but no, like that. I mean, people I know the past like 5 years or so, it's between 20 and 50 grand.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and
you know, and
yeah.
So $10,000 is an incredible price for a beautiful wedding, and it's not like you're giving anything. I'm like, you have a gorgeous venue, you have great food, open bar. You're not settling at all. You're not settling. That's the thing, is like it's going to be a gorgeous wedding, and you're paying 10 grand versus 30 if you had done it on like a Saturday, like we talked about. So it's going to be a phenomenal wedding, and it's a great price, and you should not feel guilty about $1 you spend on that day.
Thank
you.
All.
It's your day.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's your princess day.
It's your princess day. Well, it is like, it's tough because just on a day-to-day basis, the thought of spending $10,000 in one day, you're like, that's nuts. Like, holy shit. But when you get engaged and you start the wedding planning process, your perspective does shift a little bit where you're like, okay, well, if I want to have an actual like wedding where people come and we do the whole thing, it is going to cost money. And you just kind of have to like get used to that. And I think maybe my dad this was like a couple week or so ago that we had this talk, and I think maybe like he's kind of come around to it and understood a little bit more since then. But I tried to tell him what some of my friends have spent or are spending on their wedding. And I was like, yeah, some of my friends are spending like over $50,000. And he was like, oh, Kelsey, like just like, and then he was like, well, I can't give you any more money than I'm giving you. Like he got defensive. Like he thought I was telling him what my friends are spending as like a, yo, like you should give me more. And I was like, whoa, I would never ask that of you. We're so grateful for like what you guys are pitching in. Like I'm just saying that to try to make you proud of me that I'm doing all this work to not spend that level of money. And you know, it's like a weird guilt thing that you don't want to feel that way when you're planning this day that I'm like super excited about.
No, maybe think of it like you're paying like per month, you know, like you have a whole year and you're paying like a monthly bill towards this amazing day that's going to have beautiful photos of and great memories and it's going to be awesome.
I'm so excited. It's just, again, you want that parental approval where I'm like, just love me, just approve.
I know. You want them to come and go, you did all this?
Yes, for this amount of money.
You
didn't. And also it's like, I don't really care about flowers and like there's certain things I don't really care about. And it's like, I want him to be proud that he said some comment like, no bridezilla, please. And I was like, what? You know me. I'm not that person that would be like that anyway. And it's like, I'm the opposite. I'm the one who's saying, I don't want to do all this shit. I don't care. Like it just was weird. It just,
it's interesting that we're all adults and all of our guilt stuff this episode has been surrounded by our parents.
I know.
How interesting is that? It really is. Like it's something that's really always there. And I think a good lesson is like, you gotta do you. And if you upset them, hopefully they come around. But if not, like, you gotta live your life every day and you're not a little kid anymore.
You know? Unless you're an asshole. Most guilt is inflicted by other people.
True.
Right. And their expectations.
Right. So, you know, you keep doing whatever the hell you want to on stage.
Thank
you have a fucking great wedding day. And I'm getting rid of all my shit. And nobody can do anything about it.
Oh, my God.
All right. We got to wrap it up.
Yes. Woo.
But we love you guys. Please subscribe on iTunes. If you haven't already, give us a 5-star rating and review. Takes no time.
We read all
you
of
guys.
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And subscribe to Patreon for bonus episodes.
Yeah. Oh, my God. We're loving the Patreon. It's so cool.
Much fun.
And when you guys subscribe, you are contributing to our eventual Self-Helpless live tour. So that's our long-term goal that the Patreon is going to help with.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Ooh. All right. Good job.